excited and just welcome to Boss Up Goddess. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and I interview trailblazing women who help you live bigger, better, and bolder when they share their wisdom. With us today is Sheila Morgan. She is a life coach, a professional certified life coach, and she is leading a revolution to help pissed off people pleasers stop the madness, take their power back. She's helping goddesses boss up to be powerful women and men who want to do the same. So Sheila, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. This is so fun.
Your mission is so fun as a reformed people pleaser. I was like, yeah, let's do this. So I want to hear how you work with people to first identify that they are a people pleaser and how to stop doing that, and what's the damage that's done if you're a people pleaser at the expense of yourself.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, those are the really great questions, right? Yeah, I think there are even people pleasers who won't say they're people pleasers because they're afraid of like like outing themselves. Like, oh no, people are gonna come and try to.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well, wait, let's start by defining what is a people pleaser.
Okay, so a people pleaser. So I always think there's people that it's like, oh, that's not a bad thing, and I don't want to say that it's wrong or bad, right? To be a people pleaser. So I don't want anyone to feel like it's that they shouldn't people please. What I talk about is that look at the results you're getting from being the way you're being. Do you love it? Do you love doing things for people? Is it like filling you up? Do you feel amazing? And it's like, heck yeah, I'm a people pleaser. I love it. Or is it, oh, I'm a people pleaser, and because of that, I don't have a say in what I do. I don't get to voice my opinion. I'm stuck. I hear stuck a lot. I'm stuck in this place where I have to do this or I have to do that. And if I don't, then somebody's gonna be mad. Mom will be mad, or my husband will be mad, or oh, you don't understand what happens when I say no. Everybody freaks out. I don't want the drama. I don't want all of that.
Right.
And so that's where I say, okay, if you're doing this and being a people pleaser, let's take a look at that. And where can we start to change that? And a lot of people believe that you're either a nice people pleaser or I don't know if I can cuss, or you're an asshole.
Oh.
And I'm like,
If you're not a
no,
people
there is
pleaser.
all of this space in between.
Oh.
And this is where
Oh.
boundaries live. And this is where standing up for yourself lives, and where having your own back lives, and having confidence and being authentic and being honest and being real, and all of that's where all of that is. Because over here in
Mhm.
people pleaser, it's really it's like lying, manipulating, hiding, really not being honest. And then over
Yeah.
here, you're not really being honest either. If you're over here in Jerkville, let's call it that, you're just it's like you're just going too far to the extreme to still try to get some kind of reaction or result or outcome with other people. So it's still almost kind of a manipulation. If you're getting angry and you're yelling and oh, I'm gonna do this, or get really mad about something, you're still trying to manipulate something. But in this space, this is a space where you just get to be you, and you let other people be them.
Wow. So that sounds awesome,
Mm,
but how do you step out of the people pleasing mode? And I just want to share some examples that have manifest with me
mm,
is when someone says or asks me, do you want to do XYZ? And I am thinking in my head, hell no. And my mouth is saying yes. And I'm so mad at myself because I'm adhering to their agenda because
right.
I don't want to upset them. And so the anger, Sheila, the anger that has caused in me in past years is just intolerable. So I reached a point where but I didn't know where to start. And
Mhm.
it's very difficult when people expect you to say yes all the time and you start saying no.
Oh, yeah. And that's what people pleasers are afraid of.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when I say no?
Mhm.
So it's a process of learning how to be with whatever their reaction is.
Oh my gosh. So can you walk us through,
Yeah.
like, if
Yeah.
someone comes to you and says, "I am a pissed off people pleaser." And I just love that so much. What do you do? Like, how do you
Yeah. So we get really specific. Like we will talk about, okay, tell me about the last time you got pissed off at somebody. And if it was because are you pissed off because people are walking all over you, or are you pissed off at yourself because you're saying yes all the time? And we kind of make that distinction. And then we look at uh, thinking about getting angry as a bad thing. And but there's no wrong emotions. We're just humans with
Mm,
emotions. And
mm.
there's the emotions that you feel, and then there's actions you might take out of those emotions. And what's the result of this, what's the impact of this, and having awareness of that. And all of this even starts with awareness, like even knowing that you are, let's say, being a people pleaser, reacting to somebody asking you to do something, and you just say yes. Do you even have the awareness that you're doing that?
Mm.
And what is that creating? Because once you realize that you are people pleasing, that's where the anger might start coming up, but it's because you're mad at yourself.
Yes,
So
yes.
having the awareness of it, allowing the anger, be like, okay, I'm angry about this. But why am I angry about this? Because what's that creating for me? Is it stopping me from doing something else? Does it go against my values? What really is it that you're angry about? Because there's no reason for us to be angry that somebody asks us to do something. Because no matter what, somebody asks us to do anything, we can say yes, we can say no, or we can counteroffer or negotiate and say, well,
Mhm.
I'll do this if you do this.
Uh-huh.
Or, like the kids want to go to the drive-in on the way home from school or something, the drive-through. Well,
Uh-huh.
okay, well, yeah, we'll do that, but then you're going to do an hour of chores when you get home, or, something like that, right? Like there's like a
Uh-huh, yeah.
negotiation.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to get too far off of the question. Remind me the question again.
Oh, if someone comes to you and they are that quintessential pissed off people
Mm,
pleaser, and how do you how do you walk them from that point to power? And you already said awareness, because they
mm,
might not be aware of the way. And then you said all these awesome words like boundaries, authenticity, honesty. But how do you break the chains of the people pleasing, which is fear of anger, fear of bad reactions by other people, fear of rejection? And how do you help somebody boss up and find the courage to speak
yeah,
up
yeah,
and be authentic?
yeah. So a lot of that is the mindset work, and that's where having a coach helps,
Okay.
right? Because we can take the
Uh-huh.
action of saying no, but then we
Mm-hmm.
have to kind of deal with ourselves and our reaction to their reaction, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're saying no to somebody and they get angry, and then we think, oh gosh, we've done something wrong, or we feel uncomfortable, and stepping out of being a people pleaser is having the willingness to take on an uncomfortable emotion.
Ooh, wow. Having the willingness to take on an uncomfortable emotion. And that's something people pleasers, like we ourselves want to please ourselves with uh what's the word? Peace, but it's not
Yeah.
peace. It's turmoil when you're not being
Yeah.
authentic.
Yeah. It's so
So,
funny. The very thing we want to create peace and happiness and love over there with that person, is so that we over here can feel peace, love, and happiness and feel good about what we're doing and how we're showing up.
yeah.
And then if what we're doing doesn't make that person happy and they're upset with us, then we
Hmm.
still have that feeling of being upset. And so we can kind of get into this
Wow.
loop. And then we find ourselves trying to fix whatever is going on. And then I
Uh-huh.
see this a lot with my sister's unhappy. I need to help her and fix that. And sister's over here going, leave me alone. I don't need your help. And then you're feeling that, well, I tried to help. And things just kind of get out of hand. So that's where allowing someone else to be where they are and have whatever emotions they have and let them own them, and we own our emotions. It's,
Oh,
it's
I
very
love
freeing.
that.
And yes, it does take work. It takes, like I said, awareness, and then the desire to really move beyond the people pleasing, because it might be uncomfortable to get through it, but you get to a place where you're authentic and real, and and you have a deeper level of happiness and joy than you would have gotten just from the surface level of, oh, look, they're happy, so I'm happy.
Mm. So how do you work with people? Is it like daily, weekly, monthly? Do you give them worksheets? Do you like have a questionnaire? How do you dive deep into the issues?
That's so great. What I have now is I'm working with people for a year. And this is
Ooh,
kind
I
of new
love
for me for
that.
this year. Yeah. So I've been working with people for 3 months to 6 months. And then I'm finding this is a change. Like, I'm 51 years old, right? So hiring a coach to try to change 51 years of habit, right?
Yeah,
And that's going to take a
right.
little while. And
Yeah.
people immediately start to get tools. They immediately um, start to learn to listen to their mind and their self-talk, and what am I saying to myself, and how am I treating myself, and what do I think about myself, and then start to practice taking on saying no, standing up for myself, speaking my own truth, my own
Mm,
authenticity,
mm.
and all of that. And it will take a little while. It's literally reprogramming our brains.
Oh, wow. I love that, Sheila. That is so awesome. So, do you have a success story you can share of somebody, don't name names or anything, but like going from point A to just boss?
Hmm. Yeah. So one of my clients, it's kind of a sad story too, but um, she ran her own business, and she was living with her mom, and she was separated from her husband. And so she wasn't sure whether to, rekindle things with him, or what she's going to do there. And her mom didn't like her husband. And so she was like feeling stuck in between the two of them.
Yeah.
And like, I want to get back with him, but she really hates him and I can't bring him around. So I'll have to move out. But I don't want to be where he's living. And like all of this kind of turmoil. And by the end of working together, she had gotten a much better relationship with her mom.
Oh,
And she had created that she would be back with her husband, but not like living with him. And
oh,
mom got to where she was okay with husband because she stood up for, I love him. This is what I want. This is what I'm creating.
uh-huh.
And then just a couple months ago, her mom passed away.
Oh, I'm so
And
sorry.
I sent her a message saying, I'm so sorry that your mom passed away and all of this. And the note that she sent back to me about, she said, our work together allowed me to be at a place with my mom that when she passed away, our relationship was so good.
Oh my gosh, I have chills everywhere.
And I just sat down and cried.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. What tremendous healing and empowerment. Wow, I wasn't expecting you to say any of that. That's an incredible outcome.
And all because she began to just say, this is what I want. This is what I need.
Wow. So that's another amazing point, Sheila, that you're making is that when people do speak up, they can manifest wonderful outcomes that are bigger and better than they even expected, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because who knew it would play out like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Speaking up for yourself as a grown woman,
Yep.
like, why is that even a thing? But it is. And, you know,
Like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm a grown up.
no, because little girl syndrome is a thing. It's real. It's like the people pleaser is very much rooted in being a good little girl
Mm-hmm.
for
Oh my
women.
gosh, yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
And the guilt that we're not doing enough, we're not producing enough, we're not creating enough. And that somehow we are responsible for other people feeling good. And it's our fault if other people don't feel good. And we can even get so far into it as to believe that if we aren't doing something exactly right, we're literally causing harm for other people. And it's
Wow.
terrifying and it's paralyzing. And it really, for a lot of women, it really prevents them from taking on something that they want to do or creating something because they're afraid it might hurt somebody.
Wow. Wow, that's fascinating. So you help people recognize this because a lot of times that awareness piece is huge, huge if you're not even aware. And as women, a lot of times we're taught our value is our role with others.
Yeah.
What kind of mother are you?
Mhm.
What kind of sibling are you? What kind of daughter are you? What kind of wife are you? And that's what defines the person. So they, of course, we want to do everything in our power to excel in each of those roles.
Yeah.
So, Sheila, how did you embark on this wonderful line of work?
Oh, wow. Yeah, so part of my story has definitely resonated with the fear of causing harm. And
Oh,
many years ago, I wanted to become a life coach and I signed up for a school to do that. And before it started, I got my money back because I thought, who am I to coach other people? My life, I'm a hot mess. My life sucks. I'm having all these problems. How could I possibly help anybody? So I got out of it. And rather than believing that I could go into that and learn and make my life better, I had this belief that I am not enough. I am not capable of good enough to do this sort of thing. So I continued on my journey of personal growth and leadership and learning things. And about, was it 2 years ago? I always have to look at my wall calendar. So March 2019, I received my first life coach certification and had my first
wow.
clients in 2018. Even before I even got certified, I was
Uh-huh.
already coaching people.
Hmm.
And loved it so much, absolutely loved
Mm-hmm.
it, and just wanted to dive in more and level up. And my dream um, life coach training school, it's literally called the Life Coach School. I joined them in March of 2020, perfect timing, actually.
Great.
And I got my certification through them in September. And I came out of that oh, just feeling amazing. And I lost 30 pounds through the course of the quarantine and the pandemic and all of that. So I'm super
Wow.
excited about that and took on responsibility for myself and, not being mad at my husband because he's sitting here eating popcorn next to me while we're watching a show. Right. And not blaming him and taking ownership for myself
Uh-huh.
and all of these things that people pleasers are like. We tend to also be a little bit more like leaning into like a victim place
Yes, for
because we
sure.
have it that it's that other people do things to us and we do things to other
Yeah,
people. And so it's
right.
kind of they kind of go hand in hand. So kind
Oh,
of letting both of those things go, let him enjoy his popcorn and me be, this is my plan, this is what I'm doing.
yeah, yeah.
So
I love
yeah, and
it.
so I love it. And I had been in the corporate world forever. I actually worked for a timber and logging company, and I was a supervisor in a lumber mill.
Oh my
And it
gosh.
took me years to get to that place, to get my confidence up, and to get that job. And then I wasn't even in that job very long, a couple of years, when I quit to coach full time. So that was middle of
Wow.
2020. 19 that I
Oh,
stopped working there as a
oh,
manager.
wow, Sheila, that's amazing.
I gotta tell you, it's tough to be a people pleaser, a woman in a male dominated.
I know that's super macho.
Oh, I took
Lumberjacks,
on so
really?
much responsibility. I took on so much work because I feel like I had to compensate for, I don't know, for whatever, like that I didn't have the same schooling as the men, or I don't even know. Because I didn't go golfing with the guys and all of that. So I feel like I had to do more stuff. And then I would resent and get upset that they're not doing all the work I'm doing. And and I realized it's I took it all on. I
Mm.
was trying to please them, and half the time they didn't even notice what I was doing.
Wow. Half the time they didn't notice what you were doing.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's so many women doing some backflips to just do oh my gosh, it
Oh
makes
my
me so
gosh, yeah.
mad. But fortunately, you help people wake up from that
Yes.
and take action to escape that type of thinking and behavior.
Yeah. I have an amazing group that is free that people can join on Facebook. It's called the
Okay.
People Pleasers Revolution.
Ooh.
And there's a lot of great resources in there. And I just released uh, the three, oh, how do I say this? The three reasons you people please,
Yeah.
and why it's a problem and what you can do about that.
You
I
just
can,
released it in what form? A book?
it's a PDF and it's in the group. I just covered up what I was gonna.
I'll put everything in the description
Yeah,
box so
that sounds
everybody
great.
can
Yeah.
get access, which is awesome. So, and your company is where can
Sheila
people
Morgan
reach?
Coaching.
Mhm. And so I'll put a link to your website as well. So if anybody wants to work with you or have a consultation, they can, because we don't need any more pissed off people pleasers in the world.
No kidding. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Have you discovered that during the pandemic, more people are looking in the mirror and awakening to the fact that they want to change in this way?
Yeah, it's so fascinating. We had more time on our hands,
Hmm.
and people were finding themselves either, it was like almost like there were two camps, right? Like there was the I'm in my pajamas all day long eating popcorn and watching Netflix and gaining weight, and then there was the I'm getting stronger and healthier and self-improvement camp,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I kind of
Ooh.
heard from both sides,
Uh-huh.
and I love that because it showed that there's like awareness of like how we can distract ourselves from the day to day by,
Mhm.
like, if you're having troubles in your relationship, you go to work. And that's
Oh,
how your marriage works, is that you spend more time at work and you
oh,
avoid and you distract yourself from that. But when you are now you're home and your partner's there all the time, these things will come up.
yeah.
And so you kind of have to deal with it and what's happening there. And you either deal with it by avoiding it, which is that's where the Netflix and being on your phone or drinking or eating or any of those things to distract ourselves, that's where that comes in. Or you maybe start running, start doing all of these other things. And even the things that sound healthy and good for us, like exercise, can become something that we distract ourselves with
Right,
rather
right.
than feeling an uncomfortable emotion, actually
Hmm.
having a tough conversation, actually standing up for ourselves or making requests for ourselves. And that's a
Hmm.
hard one, especially for women to request
Hmm.
what we actually authentically want,
Hmm.
especially if you feel like it goes against what we're supposed to want. We're supposed to be happy to raise our kids and do all of these things. We're not supposed to want to chuck it all and travel around the world with a backpack.
Uh-huh.
Right. So imagine
Uh-huh.
that if you actually decided that's something that you wanted, what you would have to process and get through emotionally to be able to request that.
Yeah. This probably plays out in the bedroom a lot too.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Because well,
I'm not
just
in
as
people's bedrooms, but if I would imagine that
no,
it
I can
probably,
just imagine, if you're scared to speak up in any other part of the house, you're not going to speak up there. So
that's
I'm
right.
glad you're empowering
Yeah.
women to speak up in every area of their life.
Every area. Yeah.
So, Sheila, it's so interesting because I read that the divorce rate spiked 35% at the start of the pandemic for the very reason that you just described, is that people have been distracting through work and not being home. And then all of a sudden they're together and they realize
Yeah.
I'm super not happy. So people are, but still, if even if you do divorce, you still need to figure out what went wrong. And
Mhm.
it seems like your work could help someone who's going through a divorce as well, so they get in touch with their authentic self and their power,
Mhm.
so that next time around they're more empowered.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times we think it's the other person not making us happy. And
Hmm.
if we don't find our own happy, no one else has a chance to create that for us. It
Right,
really starts
right,
there.
right. I love that point. It's not two people completing each other. It's two
Right.
wholes making something bigger and better than two
Right.
or three or
Yeah.
four.
I like to think of it as relationships aren't 50-50; they're 100 and 100.
Ooh. Oh, I love that. I love that. So do you have any new programs coming up for this year, or any like new philosophies that you're applying in 2021 after last year?
Yeah, so one of the things that I found is that a lot of us were sabotaging our own selves and our own success and blaming our partner or blaming our circumstances of being stuck at home or not being able to go do the things we want to do. And so I created what I call a mini course,
Uh-huh.
and it's called Stop Self Sabotage. And
Ooh.
it's $99, and I am launching it this week in my Facebook group. So that's
Ooh,
the
okay.
first place people will hear about it. And
Okay.
then I'm going to have a webinar at the end of January, and I will be talking about setting goals, and I'm calling it 10x your vision board, and it's going to be like better than a vision board, and talking
Oh.
about reaching our goals, and then and what stops us, the sabotage part. You
Uh-huh.
know, I figure by the end of January, people will have forgotten they set goals. That's when the gym starts to get emptied out, right? Traditionally. So I
Right.
thought that timing's pretty good. So
Uh-huh.
people then and like, okay, so what's happening? You know, and it's
Uh,
all up here. What are you doing up here
mhm.
that's causing you to stop going after your goal? Or why are you tripping yourself up? What's going on
Mm,
there? Is it
mm,
because you think that you're upsetting your partner somehow? My new diet is so hard because the rest of the family doesn't like it. Or
mm.
whatever you have that comes up that you're intruding on other people's time. Or if I want to go
Mhm.
do yoga in the living room, that means my husband can't watch NASCAR
Oh.
races or, whatever, right? Or
Okay.
whatever it is that, because you might take up too much space.
Mm.
You might be in somebody's way, right? Yeah. And we're not supposed
Mm.
to do that. We're supposed to be in our little
Right.
space, right?
Right.
So this is like, what are we doing? What are we thinking
Mm.
that is causing us to not go after our goal? Because we'll start something and then stop partway
Mm.
through. And so that this is like a little like a laser focused coaching. It's we start out with a 90-minute like a deep dive,
Huh?
and I send out a form for with a few questions for people to fill out before the session, so we can just jump right in and work on what's the goal we really want to have. And we get really specific on a goal, and then we
Mhm.
have a couple of weeks for them to go out into the world and
Mhm.
and take it on and go for it. And then we come
Mm.
back. We have about 30 minutes to, well, what happened? What worked? What didn't work? Do we need to tweak something? What came up for you? And the last person that took this, was it yesterday we talked? Yes, last night actually. She lost 6 pounds over the holidays.
Wow.
And she says, how did she word it? I I stopped 99% of my snacking and
Wow.
lost 6 pounds over the holidays.
That's
And I'm
amazing.
not a weight loss coach,
Uh-huh.
so it was just it's about mindset and
Mhm.
awareness of what we're doing, what we're
Mm.
telling ourselves, and choosing differently.
And eating and being overweight is one of the biggest forms of self-sabotage.
It really is. Yeah.
Wow, Sheila, that's amazing. Just imagine what she's going to accomplish the rest of the year.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What a great feeling you must have as doing the work that's transforming lives.
So great. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so you've got your self-sabotage, stop self-sabotaging course, your revolution group, the
Yep.
people pleaser. What's the name of it?
People pleasers revolution.
People Pleasers Revolution
For
Facebook
pissed
group.
off people pleasers. And it's like the best tongue twister ever, right?
It is a tongue twister. I love it. Awesome. And then your individualized coaching services. So
Yes.
this is just outstanding. I'm so grateful that you are here to share your wisdom to help us all live bigger, better, and bolder.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I love chatting with you. And I love your
You're
dress.
welcome. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. As I said earlier, I wore it in Miami on my birthday last, and I'm not in Miami right now. So I'm pretending that I can go outside and walk on the beach.
Mm,
So thank you, Sheila. You're amazing. You are definitely a boss and a goddess. So thank
love
you.
it. So good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Everybody, check out her information here in the description box so you can get in touch and join her programs and just stop being a pissed off people pleaser. Be an empowered boss, goddess.
Love it.
All right. Thank you so much for watching tonight. If you enjoyed this program, please do like, share, subscribe, comment, and click the notification bell. Remember, boss up, goddess, because you have the power. I'll see you next time.